You can judge this book by its cover.
Get that stuff out of here. It's Southwest Bias.
Welcome into Southwest Bias, brought to you by our friends at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. And we are live from Studio K, brought to you by Circle K. Do not forget to become a member of the Inner Circle. Devin Booker, leadership. It's two things that we've heard about for the better part of a decade now. And this summer was all about putting Devin Booker in a position to lead. This is Devin Booker's team. The Phoenix Suns are now Devin Booker's team wholeheartedly. No Chris Paul, no Kevin Durant, nobody that is a let's just say it, a veteran that has a little bit more gravitas in the locker room that Devin might have to let lead a little bit more than him. No stronger voice in the locker room than him in terms of who is the undoubted star. That's what we're looking at. That's what this season is all about. And it's not just us, the talking heads, that realize it. It's not just us, the talking heads, that look at it and understand that maybe when you're playing with guys that you idolized, and Chris Paul and Kevin Durant, that it might be a little harder for you to have that voice, to be the one that's demonstrative, to be that guy. Vasa Micic, former Sun, was on the X's and O's podcast. It's a Serbian podcast, and he was talking about Devin Booker and Kevin Durant and the leadership that came of it. And he had this to say. We'll take a look at it. He, quote, talking about Booker, he was a bit in the shadow, but not in a bad way, because he really respects KD so much. This was a translation that came from Dwayne Rankin's article in the Republic, and we understand the sentiment. I actually also talked with the host of that podcast in Serbia, Miroslav, and he said, quote, basically he said that Booker's leadership couldn't be expressed next to KD because he is a way bigger star. So a little context to go with the quote. Now, some people will try to point a finger at Kevin Durant, or will say, well, it should have been Book's prerogative to do that. I don't think that's necessarily the case. I don't think this was some horrible misstep that Devin Booker had. I don't think this was some giant locker room problem. I also don't think Micic was trying to air out any dirty laundry, as it may have been portrayed across the internet when people saw these quotes. I think it was just giving an honest assessment, talking about how Devin Booker and Kevin Durant are different types of players, how they both work out, how their perspective of the game is. And in this, being very honest that Kevin Durant is a top 10 player in NBA history. Kevin Durant, when he walks in a locker room, is going to have a certain level of gravitas in that locker room, is going to have a certain level of say in what happens. And I don't blame him. That's part of it, right? But he's no longer part of the equation. He's in Houston, and he has that gravitas in that locker room. And guess what? The mantle falls to Devin Booker to have that gravitas in the Suns locker room. And I think we're at a point where Devin has done everything to earn that. These young guys in this locker room, the Jalen Greens of the world, the Duns, the Osos, the Malawatches, the Kobe Brea. I mean, hell, we know Kobe Brea looks at Devin Booker the way he looked at the Chris Pauls and the Kevin Durants of the world. He's put in the sweat equity. He has the respect of the guys in that room, especially the younger ones who have grown up watching his game. And he's going to take that next step in the leadership department, on the court and off of it. And I don't blame him that hasn't been where he is. Chris Paul is the demonstrative leader. Kevin Durant has an aura. Now Devin Booker gets to have both of those in this locker room. On the court. Because I don't care what reports say. Jalen Green is not the point guard. There's no point guard on this team. There isn't. They're both going to be ball handlers, and I think that's a good thing. And I think Devin is ready to take that step on the court where he is that main focus, again, in the offense, and that he learns those things that have come with having to be the primary ball handler last year, working out of double teams faster, getting the ball out as they start to crash on you to find the mismatch. I think all those things are going to come this year. There's this whole perception that Devin Booker took a step back last year. You know, I don't buy it. And I think we're about to see a man paint his masterpiece here. I think we're about to see a player that people go, oh yeah, I forgot he can be that guy. There's always the talk, oh, he's not the same dog he was. He isn't that guy. He didn't take over the offense. He didn't dominate. Yeah, it's a little different when you have Kevin Durant next to you, another mouth that has to be fed, another guy that obviously and rightfully so thinks he's the man out there. Devin Booker doesn't have that. Devin Booker has the green light to be that man and more this year. He's got a young athletic guy that's going to be his running mate, and Jalen Green is going to get that ball up fast up the court if he's the one taking it. He's a lob threat that Devin hasn't had since, what, DeAndre Ayton? Like, I am thrilled to see this, and I don't think what Vasa Micic brought up is a knock on anybody. I think it's actually an explanation as to why we're going to see something much bigger this year, much more interesting than we have over the last few years. I get it. People want to look at these things, stir up controversy. Oh my gosh, can you believe it? He said this. Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, beef. No, it's natural stuff. It's the kind of things we all been through. I've told this story before. I'll tell it again. When I was working with Al McCoy, I was an adult. You think that I was going to sit there and ever tell Al McCoy he was wrong about something? No. It's a guy I idolize. He's a guy why I get in the business. He's a guy that his bobblehead sits on this desk every day. I got the privilege to work with him. You don't think Devin had a little of that? Kevin Durant, he had his fat head on his wall when he was growing up. That's a natural human thing. I do not hold that against anybody. And I'm excited to see what this next phase is of the evolution of Devin Booker. We saw him alongside G League guys to start his career. And having no guidance and all these things. We've seen him with stars like Chris Paul and Kevin Durant and what he can do. And now we get to see a mature Devin Booker in his prime with what everybody's calling a basketball nerd as his head coach, a guy that eats, sleeps, and drinks basketball the way he does. There's going to be some interesting things that happen. It may not translate into huge wins. I still have him at 38 wins, and I will stick with that for the foreseeable future. This would be a hell of a lot more fun, and we can see Devin Booker emerge back. People have him top 20 right now. He's like 19 on some lists. I think he was 19 on the NBA 2K rankings list. This could be that year where we see him get back to talking about top 10, best guard in the league. All those things that we heard during that finals run. I think we're going to see a much different Devin Booker. Because now he's got that passing in the bag. He's going to deliver on that front. Top 10 in assists per game last year. Top 10 in points per game. We're going to see something special this year. Vasa Micic was just giving us the blueprint of why it might happen. But maybe that's just my Southwest bias. We welcome in the mustache behind the Mac, Shane Diefenbach, who traveled to East LA today, I believe, or Glendale, who was out there, but he made it back in time for the show. That's the dedication this man has. Shane, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day.
Happy hump day. Yeah, yeah. What sound does a camel make? I don't know. Like
I feel like it's almost elkish.
Do I have to just spit? Is that what you got to do
No.
to no, then somebody has to clean up the studio.
Now I have to look this up. Hold on.
We have to look up what a camel.
Yeah.
See, these are the things that if we had a pre-show production meeting, Shane,
I don't think we would have gotten to this point. I think
No.
this would have happened as well. They make grunting and humming noises. Yeah, it's probably like a combination between like a horse and a cow.
It's it's something for an animal that Hump Day is connected to. But Shane, what do you make of the Devin Booker emerging from the shadow of Kevin Durant?
It sounds spooky, and I'm all for it with 40-something days until Halloween. I mean, it makes sense. Like, this is a guy who, like, again, as you said, a veteran came in, and not just a veteran, but one of the best basketball players of all time. You're not just gonna like keep your same role. Like, I'm not saying, I don't think he fell fully into the shadows and was acting like a role player when it came to communication.
No,
but like the leadership role changes when something like that happens. Like, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I leadership is many different things, and that's not saying Devin wasn't a leader in many ways last year, but
it's also not his fault.
It wasn't his team.
Yeah.
It was KD's, it was slightly less Bradley Beal's, that's what it was. But there is no doubt whose team this is now. I mean, hell, you listen to Matt Ishbia when he was on this program. You listen to Brian Gregory when he talks in press conferences, Jordan Ott in his opening press conference. The kind of guy that they want, the mentality that they want, how they're building this team, they essentially give you Devin Booker's bio. The kind of guy that's wanting to grind, work hard, do whatever it takes, getting people's grills on the court. Like, you don't have to be liked on the court. And that's the kind of guys that they're going for, guys that you're not going to question their hustle. I think they looked at Devin Booker and said, we want to build it after this guy's characteristics.
Yeah, 100%. The team's identity has to change this year, and it's going to do that. It's going to start at the front, and it's going to start with the leadership of this team. Now, what's going to be interesting is, what does the rest of the leadership look like? Like, where does that trickle down go? Who is the judicial and executive branch of this?
I think we know the judicial branch is Dylan Brooks. Yeah. He's going to be laying down the law. Let's be honest.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But it is going to be interesting to see who that 2A and 2B leaders are on this team. Who's going to have the voice? Is it going to be a veteran guy like Dylan Brooks, or is it going to be a younger guy like Jalen Green, or is it going to be both of them? Is it going to be one of the new guys? Is it going to be Ryan Dunn because he was here last year? You just don't know. Is
Dylan Brooks the judicial system, or is he the Department of Defense, or whatever we're calling it now? Like, I feel like he is the enforcer, right? So he can be one of those two.
Yeah.
Or the Department of War, whatever we want to call. Yeah. Whatever we want to call Dylan Brooks, he's going to be raining hell down on opponents. We know that much.
What is the Space one?
The Space Force.
Yeah, he's the Space Force.
No, I think that is Grayson Allen, because he's going to space the floor. He's the Space Force.
Man, Houston should have that name for their young core, the Space Force.
Who Jalen Green is? I don't know, the czar of fashion, the czar of excitement. Like, that guy's gonna. He could be the Space Force too when he takes off, though. Maybe he's the Air Force. Jalen Green is the Air Force. Okay. Look at that.
Yeah, Air Force One, and then Şengün can be. If we're going back to the Houston Space Force name, Şengün can be the moon.
No, we've stretched this far too much, and it's about to snap back in our face. I want to shout out the biased in the chat, Frank, Amelia, hello, the whole fam damly out there. Watching the program, do me a favor. Join our supporters club, right? You can join for $5 or $15. You're going to unlock special emojis. And if we get 5 people from this program that subscribe today, I'm going to get you an ahoy hoy emoji that you can drop in that chat on the regular. It is fun to be a supporter. We appreciate everybody that's in there. We have almost 30 people already as part of our supporters club that we launched. So do me a favor, hit that join button. If you are on desktop, we'll throw a link in the chat that you can also use to join. It is simple, and we would love you to be a part of the supporters club here on YouTube. And also, while you're here, it is Big Brothers Big Sisters month, not only here at PHNX, but throughout ALLCITY. And I highly recommend that you either use the donate button that you see there near the chat, or decide to donate your time to becoming a member of Big Brothers Big Sisters. It is important. You can change a kid's life by being a mentor right now, and just showing them somebody cares, showing them that somebody is there to help them, whether it's just to give them some advice, to get them on the right path to a career, heck, to just be at their game and cheer them on. I mean, I'm going to go be like a big brother to Shane. I think I'm going to go out to his rec league game and heckle him. I mean, cheer him tonight.
I don't think
It'll
you
be
are.
Great. No, I'm going to show up at one. That's going to happen.
Well, you got 2 more regular season games after this one.
All right. I'm marking it down. Next Wednesday,
right.
The Southwest Bias family is going to find a way to go bother Shane.
You know what time that game is?
It's probably going to be at like 9 p.m.
8:50.
Way
and
past my bedtime.
It's at 8:50, but if you want to come to the next week's game, it's at 9:40.
Do you play at like Veterans Memorial Coliseum?
I'm not doxing that. I'm not telling people where I'm
All
playing.
right. I will come out there. Maybe we'll do some do a video for the program. Hit that link to join the supporters club, as AZ Cats G has dropping that a wildcat emoji in there. I appreciate each and every one of you every day. We crossed our 4-year mark yesterday. We got so much more to talk about, though. We're going to go scrolling and look at what's going on around Arizona sports on the internet right after this. Got to tell you about Rally House. I mean, Shane was actually just out at their Glendale location, and Rally House is where I go to get all my apparel. Like, I want Suns, Cardinals, Diamondbacks, ASU, GCU, Wildcats, whatever I want. They got it out there at Rally House. And they opened one, this was months before they joined the PHNX family here, but they opened one near my house. I went in there, I thought I was in sports heaven, right? Sometimes you walk in these places and you're like, oh, great. It's all Dodgers stuff, just what I wanted to see in my valley. Or, oh, there's that little table of Suns merch, but there's all the Lakers stuff over there. Nah, not at Rally House. They're going to have you covered with what you want, because they're the go-to spot to shop all your favorite local Arizona teams and teams gear. Tens of thousands of products to shop from. They're in Tempe. They're in Glendale, and they are down in Mesa, right near me. So if you're an East Valley person, Far East Valley, they got you covered. You can go out there and check them out. They got jerseys, hats, drinkware, signage, coolers, socks. Yeah, socks. And sunscreen and so much more.
Socks like that? Socks are great.
Socks. I mean, as I get older, I do appreciate it more. So find your local Rally House location and shop the entire product assortment online at rallyhouse.com today. And then Spencer's TV and Appliances. It's actually there's another one that's right out near my house. And I had my dishwasher break. Mostly user error, because I don't clean the dishes and I break shit. That's what happens, right? And that happened with my dishwasher. Had to go get a new one. Spencer's took care of it. We got it online. They came out. They delivered it. They installed it. No hassle. And it was great. They even hooked us up with 465-inch televisions in our watch-along area. That's unbelievable. It is the man cave of my dreams, and it happens to be at my office. So there are 11 Valley locations, employee-owned and operated, same-day and next-day delivery. I can attest to that. They do that. Arizona's largest independent appliance dealer. Save today at Spencer's using the promo codes, which I did. You can use code PHNX5 for 5% off appliances like I did, or use PHNX10 for 10% off TVs, audio, and mattresses. It's like having a friend in the business. Visit Spencers.com or any of their 11 Valley locations today. Time to go scrolling. We're going to take a look at what's going on the internet in terms of Phoenix and Arizona sports. And I want to start with the Suns. I want to stay there. And Channing Frye was on NBA Today yesterday talking about all things NBA, but they were talking about the Western Conference in particular. And you might say, Espo, you're a homer. You just blew smoke up our skirt because you think that the Suns are always going to be good. A, not true, but B, Channing Frye actually has some positivity, at least more so than some people, when it comes to the Suns. He said this on NBA Today. He said, in the West, we're going to be talking mainly about 4 teams, and then those others 5 through 10. It's going to be teams like Phoenix, 8, 9, or 10. Channing Frye seems to like what the Suns are doing. Seems to think that they have a chance to force their way into a play-in spot. And I tend to agree if things go right. I mean, hell, this team had, 36, 37 wins last year, and they were in the race till the end of it. They have 38 to 40, like some of us think that they'll be able to accomplish at the high end of what they can do. They'll be in that race. If Jalen Green becomes the star that I think the Suns front office feels he can be, they're going to be in that race. Dylan Brooks is dedicated. I've heard he's been out the facility for weeks now and just putting in the work. I've heard, and I know all the guys are out there already working out together. This team is locked in. They want to accomplish something. And when national analysts, and let's be clear, Channing is not a Suns homer. Channing actually had some major issues with this franchise after he left, and he has not hid that in his time.
He is a U of A homer, though.
He is well, of course. I mean, so is Richard Jefferson, who was sitting right next to him. But he has not hidden his frustration with this franchise. And even he is looking at this as a basketball analyst saying, yeah, this team's going to be in the mix, not for a title, not to be the number 1 seed in the West, but to have a shot at the play-in. And I tend to agree with him. I think that they're going to be right there in this mix. I know the West is tough, but the West is top heavy. There's always injuries. There's always different things that happen that come up that lead to some surprise teams. So I really think they got a shot here. I want to get to T Neckham 63's chat here. So last year with KD on the team, what were the win-loss with KD and Book on the floor? And what about after KD got hurt? It was just Book, say in the first 10 games. I get it. The record wasn't pretty. But there were a lot of dysfunctional things when it came to this Suns team last year that went way beyond whether Kevin Durant or Devin Booker was on the floor. And in no way did the beginning portion of this show, I made it clear, it's not on Kevin Durant what happened last year. Let's not act like that. That is not what's going on here. And it's a different team, a different makeup, a team that I think is better built around Devin Booker. So I think that'll be a big part of it. And Love Y'all says, we don't have the worst center rotation in the league anymore. We're not starting Beal or Tyus. I read what he said. I didn't make that up myself. I think these are all good points. He said not benching Dunn anymore. All true. Kev in the chat says, yeah, team was buns with the peach emoji. Yeah, all those things are true. All those things are true. And Budenholzer isn't the coach anymore. And you know what? All respect to what Mike Budenholzer accomplished in his career, but he obviously was not that guy with the Suns. All sorts of issues when it came to Mike Budenholzer. So yeah, their record may not have been great without Kevin Durant and with Devin Booker, and it wasn't all that great in general. So let's not act like that's the case there. And you know, Tanekam 63 says true. I know. I appreciate the comment. I appreciate the discussion. That's why the bias chat is here. That's why you guys, the bias, are always welcome to throw out your thoughts. And I am not unimpeachable in my thought process. I've been wrong more times than than most. But I'll admit it. I'll tell you that. We've talked about that on the program. So thanks for weighing in. Love y'all, Kev, Tanekam 63, all of you. You're always welcome to weigh in on that. Shane, do you agree with where Channing Frye has his head right now in terms of what they're going to be able to accomplish?
No, because it's way too high.
His head or just the projection?
Yeah, his neck extended a little too far. So his head's really high in the air. And he's really tall. No, I mean, yeah, this is about where, if you want to be optimistic, the Suns should be. I mean, you would hope they're fighting for a play-in spot. They still have one of the most talented players in the league. They still have, a good young core, and and you're hoping you get some breakout candidate.
Yep.
Like you're hoping that one of these young guys takes that next step, whether it be Dunn or Oso or one of the rookies.
Yeah, Rasheer Fleming could be that guy. I don't think Kaman Malawach is gonna be that guy in year one. A lot of work to do there, and I don't think that pressure is fair on that kid. But Rasheer Fleming is supposedly NBA made, right? That's just the way he's built. Maybe he's that surprise. I think there's a lot of candidates. I mean, it could even be Jalen Green that could take that next step as well. So a lot of opportunity for this team to grow. Another thing I saw, Teo Mackey over at AZ Centro. Don't call him Theo. It's Teo Mackey over there. I had this tweet that I found very interesting. It said, quote, Spencer Rattler had the third least time to throw, 2.38 seconds, in the NFL this week, and the Cardinals still had 3 edge rushers finish with 3+ pressures. Never going to have high sack numbers when the opponent's plan is to throw the ball fast. I think this was underlooked. And in the first watch of a game, when you're just watching it live, I think it's really easy to get caught up in the fact that there wasn't a lot of, it didn't feel like there was a lot of pressure. And it felt like Spencer Rattler was doing things that you didn't expect. But I think we underestimated the Kellen Moore play calling aspect of it and how fast they were getting the ball out. I think they planned very well for what this defensive front was going to try to do and what a Jonathan Gannon defensive front tends to do. And we overlooked it. And I'll own that one. I came in on Monday and I listed the pass rush as one of my concerns with this team, and that it didn't look good enough. But on second look, and when you hear stats like this, I think they were good. Not great, not great. They were good, and they did the job, and they were part of why they only scored 13 points. Now, do I think they need to be better against Bryce Young? Yeah, I mean they got to make sure he has to make fast decisions, but then they have to find a way to punish him too, especially if he starts trying to use his legs doing that. I'd like to see at least a few big sacks come week 2 against Carolina, but I thought that was very interesting. And then tomorrow we're going to talk with All-City NFL analyst Adam Hogue about this as well in terms of what he saw, his thoughts, and what he hopes that the Cardinals can actually do against the Carolina Panthers team. That should be some really insightful stuff. Some other Cardinals news, and we can file this under, doesn't really matter about the football, but it's interesting to any of us that grew up in the 90s. I think that's too long of a segment name. We'll workshop it. But apparently Sugar Ray is going to perform at halftime. Did you see this, Shane?
I did not.
No, you're probably not a big Sugar Ray fan.
I mean, I know who Sugar Ray
but
is.
I was going to say not a big fan because you're not of my vintage. But I've decided, since they're going to have Sugar Ray at halftime tomorrow, I'm going to preview the game, or maybe Friday, with Sugar Ray lyrics. I'm going to give you a preview
That sounds horrible.
of Cardinals Panthers using Sugar Ray lyrics. So we've got that going for us. One last thing before.
I just got word from up top that segment was actually canceled.
Oh, well, it won't be. I'm the top.
What's that?
So,
they're threatening you now.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have them call me after the show. One other thing we saw on the internet that kind of fired me up was the Pepsi Zero, no free ads, Rookie of the Week for Week 1, the candidates. You'll notice a name that's not on that list. The one and only Sub-Zero, Will Johnson, did not make that list. I'm sorry, he should have been on that list. And my guess is, well, if he had the interception, he had the interception. The refs took it away from him. He would have been on that. But he had one of the most impactful, literally and figuratively, weeks of any rookie in the NFL. And sure, that very well may be my Southwest bias, but I think he damn well deserved to be on that list. That is another addition. Yep. Shane, yep, that's...
Well, you paused, and I thought you were waiting for me to talk.
No, I was just trying to give the people...
I'm sorry.
It was a pregnant pause before I got into ending the show, Shane.
Goodbye, everybody.
All right. It is another edition of Southwest Bias in the books. You can follow my man, the mustache behind the Mac, Shane Diefenbach, at Shane Dief. You can follow the show at PHNX underscore sports or under sports. And you can follow me at Espo. And remember, just because it was translated one way doesn't mean that there's a lot of trash talk when it comes to the Suns. Devin Booker's just fine. So is Kevin Durant. Ahoy, hoy.
We all silly like the mayor.